So this is the first time that I've had one of these chapters where every single paragraph has been highlighted. This has got to be, so far, the best chapter in the entire book, and we are on chapter 16. This might be a little bit longer because I'm literally going to read through the entire chapter here, so it'll probably take us 5 to 10 minutes. But I'm telling you, if you like the content in this book, this is right up your alley. All right, let's get started. Okay. Wealth is a product of labor. Capital is an effect, not a cause, a servant, not a master, a means, not an end. The most commonly accepted definition of wealth is that it consists of all useful and agreeable things which possess exchange value. It is this exchange value which is the predominant characteristic of wealth. When we consider the small addition made by wealth to the happiness of the possessor, we find that the true value consists not in the utility, but in its exchange value. Basically meaning money itself doesn't make you happy. Right? If you're Scrooge McDuck trying to dive into a big thing of money, it's not going to make you happy. What makes you happy is what you can get with that money, the exchange value. This exchange value makes it a medium for securing the things of real value whereby your ideals may be realized. Wealth should then never be desired as an end, but simply a means of accomplishing an end. Success is contingent upon a higher ideal than the mere accumulation of riches, and he who aspires to have such success must formulate an ideal for which he is willing to strive. With such an ideal in mind, the ways and means can and will be provided. But the mistake must not be made of substituting the means for an end. There must be a definite fixed purpose and an ideal. So what is the purpose of earning the money? What's the purpose of having the time freedom? What is the end goal? Because you're not taking your money with you. Prentice Melfort said, "The man of success is the man possessed of the greatest spiritual understanding, and every great fortune comes out of superior and truly spiritual power." Unfortunately, there are those who fail to recognize this power. They forget that Andrew Carnegie's mother had to help support the family when they came to America. That Harriman's father was a poor clergyman with a salary of only $200 a year. That Sir Thomas Lipton started with only 25 cents. These men had no power to depend upon, but it did not fail them. The power to create depends entirely upon spiritual power. There are 3 steps: idealization, visualization, and materialization. Every captain of industry depends upon this power exclusively. In an article in Everybody's Magazine, Henry M. Flagler, the oil standard multimillionaire, admitted that the secret of his success was his power to see a thing in its completeness. The following conversation with the reporter shows his power of idealization, concentration, and visualization, all spiritual powers. This is the conversation. Did you actually vision to yourself the whole thing? I mean, did you or could you really close your eyes and see it? And see it, the trains, the tracks running, and hear the whistles blowing. Did you go as far as that? Yes. How clearly? Very clearly. Here we have a vision of the law. We see cause and effect. We see that thought necessarily precedes and determines action. If we are wise, we shall come to the realization of a tremendous fact that no arbitrary condition can exist for a moment, and that human experience is the result of orderly and harmonious sequence. The successful businessman is more often than not an idealist and is ever striving for a higher and higher standard. The subtle forces of thought, as they crystallize in our daily moods, is what constitutes life. Thought is the plastic material which we build images. Thought is the plastic material with which we build images of our growing conceptions of life. Use determines its existence. As in all other things, our ability to recognize it and use it properly is a necessary condition for attainment. Premature wealth is but the forerunner of humiliation and disaster, because we cannot permanently retain anything which we do not merit or which we have not earned. The conditions with which we meet the world without corresponds to the condition which we find the world within. This is brought about the law of attraction. How then shall we determine what is to enter our world within? Whatever enters the mind through the senses or objective mind will impress the mind and result in a mental image which will become a pattern for the creative energies, right? What you think, what you believe will become a reality. These experiences are largely the result of environment, chance, past thinking, and any forms of negative thought, and must be subjected to careful analysis before being entertained. On the other hand, we can form our own mental images through our own interior processes and thought, regardless of the thoughts of others, regardless of exterior conditions, regardless of environment of every kind. And it is the exercise of this power that we can control our own destiny, body, mind, and soul. It is by this exercise of power that we take our fate out of the hands of chance and consciously make for ourselves the experiences which we desire, because we are consciously realize a condition that conditions will eventually manifest in our life. It is therefore evident that in the last analysis, thinking is the one great cause of life. Therefore, to control thought is to control circumstances, conditions, environment, and destiny. How then are we to control thought? What is the process? To think, to create a thought, but the result of the thought will depend upon its form, its quality, and its vitality. The form will depend upon the mental images from which it emanates. This will depend upon the depth of impression, the predominance of the idea, the clarity of the vision, and the boldness of the image. The quality depends upon its substance, and this depends upon the material of which the mind is composed. If the material has been woven from thoughts of vigor, strength, courage, determination, the thought will possess these qualities. And finally, the vitality depends upon the feeling with which the thought is impregnated. If the thought is constructive, it will possess vitality. It will have life. It will grow, develop, expand. It will be creative. It will attract itself to everything necessary for its complete development. If the thought is destructive, it will have within itself the germ of its own dissolution. It will die, but in the process of dying, it will bring sickness, disease, and every other form of discord. This we call evil. And when we bring upon ourselves this we call evil. And when we bring it upon ourselves, some of us are disposed to attribute our difficulties to a supreme being, but this supreme being is simply mind in equilibrium. It is neither good nor bad, it simply is. Our ability to differentiate into forms is our ability to manifest good or evil. Good and evil, therefore, are not entities. They are simply words which we use to indicate the results of our actions. And these actions, in turn, predetermine the character of our thought. If our thought is constructive and harmonious, we manifest good. If it is destructive and discordant, it will manifest evil. If you desire to visualize a different environment, the process is simply to hold the ideal in mind until your vision has been made real. Give no thought to the person, place, or thing. These have no place in the absolute. The environment you desire will contain everything necessary. The right person and the right things will come into the right time and in the right place. It is sometimes not plain how character, ability, attainment, achievement, environment, and destiny can be controlled through the power of visualization, but this is an exact scientific fact. You will readily see that when we think, what we think will determine the quality of our mind, and that the quality of our mind determines the ability and mental capacity. And you can readily understand that the improvement in our ability will naturally be followed by increases in attainment and the greater control of circumstances. It will thus be seen that natural laws work in perfect, natural, and harmonious manner. Everything seems to just happen. If you want any evidence of this fact, simply compare results of your effort with your own life. When your actions are promoted by the high ideals, and when you have had selfish or ulterior motives, you will need no further evidence. If you wish to bring about the realization of any desire, form a mental picture of success in your mind by consciously visualizing your desire. In this way, you will be compelling success. You will be internalizing it in your life by scientific methods. We can only see what already exists in the objective world, but what we visualize already exists in the spiritual world. And this visualization is a substantial token of what will one day appear in the objective world. If we are faithful to our ideal, the reason for this is not difficult. Visualization is a form of imagination. This process of thinking forms impressions on the mind, and these impressions in turn form concepts and ideals, and they in turn are the plans from which the master architect will weave their future. The psychologists have come to the conclusion that there is but one sense, the sense of feeling, and that all other senses are but modifications of this one sense. This being true, we know why feeling is the very foundation head of power, why the emotions so easily overcome the intellect, and why we must put feelings into our thought. If we wish results, thought and feeling is the irresistible combination. Visualization must, of course, be directed by the will. We are to visualize exactly what we want. We must be careful not to let the imagination run riot. Imagination is a good servant, but a poor master. And unless it is controlled, it may easily lead us into all kinds of speculations and conclusions which have no bias or foundation of fact whatsoever. Every kind of plausible opinion is liable to be accepted without any analytical examination, and the inevitability results is mental chaos. We must therefore construct only such mental images as are known to be scientifically true. Subject every idea to a searching analysis and accept nothing which is not scientifically exact. When you do this, you will attempt nothing, but what you know you can carry out and succeed will crown your efforts. Success will crown your efforts. This is what businessmen call farsightedness. It is much the same as insight. It is one of the greatest secrets of success in all important undertakings. So that is chapter 16 of the Master Key System, the precursor book to Think and Grow Rich, the first chapter that has been highlighted from start to finish. I hope you got some value out of that. I know the way that the book is written is a little bit old school, but other than that, I hope you really enjoyed it. If you do, please leave me a comment down below, and we'll see you on the next one.